Moviegoers fell in love with The Blind Side, but now the real-life story behind the popular film has some legal drama of its own. And you don't have to be a football star or the subject of a Hollywood movie to find that some of the key issues of the case might affect you. Ashton and Price is a personal injury law firm providing legal representation for personal injury claims throughout Northern California. We're joined today by attorney Greg Ashton, who's going to shed some light on the case. Welcome back again, Craig.
Well, thank you very much for having me back.
Yeah, okay, so we're talking about something that we're seeing a lot in the news right now, The Blind Side. And even though you're not legally connected to the case, could you tell us who the players are in the lawsuit involving Michael Oher and the Tuohy family and what the stakes are right now?
Right, so remember the movie, I think, in 2009. I think got nominated for an Academy Award. Sandra Bullock and Tim McGraw, about a homeless African-American chap, 6'4", 315 pounds, so big kid. Michael Oher was basically, he thought he was adopted. And he ended up going to Ole Miss, is where Sean Tuohy and Lee Tuohy, the putative adoptive parents, ultimately went to school. So he claims in his most recent lawsuit that the Tuohys said they adopted him, but he really set up a conservatorship, which is totally different, and he's filing a lawsuit based upon that.
Okay, and this is a lot of information to take in. So what was the Tuohy family's game plan? How does conservatorship differ from adoption or even power of attorney, and why did it take so long?
That is a legal question. We're getting blindsided by this. So the point is that there's a big difference between a conservatorship and an adoption. So the Tuohys claim that they did a conservatorship because they couldn't adopt him because he was over 18. That's nonsense. You can consent to be adopted. We all probably have friends that have done this. You know, you have stepchildren that ultimately become adopted, and there's legal rights in terms of right to inherit, in terms of insurance, et cetera, makes a big difference. So in order to get into Ole Miss, they claim that he needed to be adopted, part of the family, or part of the family. They did that through conservatorship. And it's odd because he was over 18. So conservatorships are set up if you are incompetent, or if you're under 18, you can't enter into contract, and then you set up a conservatorship. It's done all the time in minors compromises in a personal injury setting. In this case, they did a conservatorship, which allowed them the right to enter into contracts for him. And the next thing you know, they're negotiating a contract for a movie based upon them adopting him, which is really a conservatorship. He says, hey, that doesn't seem right to me, and I want some of that money back if I'm entitled to it.
And things started to feel extra messy when Michael Oher revealed details on the arrangement to the public. Did he fumble in taking this approach?
Well, he said, if you don't give me money, I'm going to go public. And he has a right to go public, and it's not illegal for basically to set up a conservatorship. So that could be considered extortion. But he wants his money back, he wants an accounting, he wants them to stop using his name, image, and likeness, and ultimately he wants punitive damages, which means they perpetrated a fraud or they were malicious. I don't know how that's going to shake out, but it smells weird that a person that just sold all their franchises for $213 million, 105 Taco Bells and Kentucky Fried Chicken, the Tuohy family, but they said that they might have filed bankruptcy a couple times during the period before that, that maybe they were having some financial difficulty, and they saw an opportunity in an unsophisticated 6'4", 315-year-old kid, and they could get the right to enter into contract and got paid money as a result of that relationship.
Oh, it gets sticky. And the lawsuit demands an injunction plus accounting of earnings related to Michael Oher's name and likeness. Can you explain why that play was called?
Yeah, right. So there's money damages, and then there's injunctive relief, which is equitable. So it says, hey, I want money, but I also want an opportunity to look at the books to see what happened and stop using my name, image, and likeness. That's an injunction. So stop profiting off of me. You're independently wealthy, clearly, because you just sold over 6 transactions in the last couple years, 105 franchises and the property associated with it. I want my money back. And the thing was, is because he played in the NFL from 2009 to 2016, but he got post-traumatic encephalopathy, which is repeated concussions. He had to retire early. He didn't get all of the money on his contracts because most of the money in the NFL is not guaranteed. So he may be suffering financial difficulty. At the very least, he does have a right to say, hey, I thought I was adopted. You said a conservatorship. I want to terminate that, which he's got a right to do, and I want to see where the money went.
How can people apply this to themselves? What are the final takeaways or lessons from the case that relate to the everyday person, especially someone taking a teen or older adult under their care?
Right. So the thing is that typically we don't want to burden the legal system with a conservatorship. That's what attorneys are for, or financial planners, or accountants, or agents. That's what they're for, or friends. The court shouldn't have to take over. Look at Britney Spears. She was doing 6 shows a week in Vegas, and she had a conservatorship saying she was incompetent. What? So the point is, if you have somebody in your family that has issues regarding their ability from a cognitive perspective or physical perspective, a conservatorship is the right way to go. Or just go ahead and get a good wills and trust attorney and set up an estate. And that's the way you can handle it, because the legal system should not be involved taking care of competent 18-year-olds That's just not the way the system's set up.
All right, we're going to continue to take a close attention and look at everything that plays out. Craig, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you very much.
You bet. And you can find out more by going to ashtonandprice.com/Sacramento.